I got a really good question from someone following the Monster Tamer series. They asked how to make an attack that travels across the screen like a bubble or an energy ball without having to create a huge sprite sheet that's the width of your entire game. That's such a great question because projectile attacks are a big part of how your game feels, and there's no single right way to do it. So in this video, I'll show you 3 different ways to create projectile attacks in Phaser and when each one makes the most sense. The first option, and probably the most flexible, is to use a particle emitter. This works great for attacks made of small, repeating elements, like bubbles, sparks, or anything that feels light and flowing. Instead of animating one big sprite, you're emitting a bunch of tiny particles that move toward the target. You can control the direction, speed, lifespan, the transparency, and the quantity, and the effect feels really dynamic for very little cost. Because you're reusing one small texture many times, it's also incredibly efficient, even with dozens of particles on the screen. So in this bubble attack here, how this works is we just load in one image that's going to be our texture we're going to emit from our particle emitter. So then when we go to create our attack, we just create a new particle emitter. We specify our position of where we want our emitter to be at in our game. So for here, I'm positioning it by our monster. We then specify that single texture that we want to use, and then to create our effect, we just need to specify our configuration for our particle emitter. So inside our configuration here, this is where I can specify things like our starting scale, our ending scale for our particle, how fast we want it to move, how long we want that particle to last for, how often we need to spawn them, and then the duration until our particle emitter stops running. And so our particle emitters are very flexible, and we can create all kinds of different effects. Just as an example, if I bump up my quantity to be 12, when we play our animation for our emitter, we'll see now our animation is completely different because we're emitting more particles. If I remove our angle, we now have a completely different effect in our game. And so our particle emitters, they're very flexible, and so we're able to start and stop them, and so we're able to reuse that same particle emitter for our attacks. So if your attack is made of smaller parts, and you want that energy trail look, particles are a great choice. The second option is to use a small animated sprite, and then we can scale it up in Phaser. Instead of making each frame as wide as our screen, we can just animate a small looping effect, maybe a few frames of our bubble wobble or glowing, and then use set scale to scale up our game object. That way it's going to look bigger in our game. This keeps our sprite sheet lightweight, but still gives you that animated, stylized attack. It's also great for combining art and code. Your artist can design a quick looping effect, and you can handle the movement in Phaser. So for this type of attack, we can create a sprite game object, we can then use set scale to scale up our game object, and then we use our play method to play our animation that we create from our sprite sheet. And so for this example, you just want to be careful not to scale too far, especially if your art isn't pixel based. Scaling too much can make it look blurry. But for most stylized attacks, this method looks great and stays lightweight. The third approach is to spawn multiple sprite instances and then move them toward the target with tweens. This is really similar to how I handled the slash attack or a monster ball throw in Monster Tamer. You can offset their timing slightly, giving each one a curve or a delay, and they end up with a really stylized attack motion. It gives you full control over the timing, your easing, your path, perfect for more cinematic attacks. So for this approach, we can just load in a single image, we can use that for our game object, and then when we go to create our attack, we just want to create multiple instances. A really good way to do this is we can use a Phaser group, which allows us to create an object pool. With our object pool, it's going to allow us to reuse our game objects, and then that way our attacks are very efficient as we spawn more and more instances of our bubble. So in our example here, we have a simple for loop to create our 5 projectiles we want. We use a delayed call to space them out so we don't spawn them all at one time. And then we use our Phaser group to grab our object from our object pool, and then we set our starting position. From there, we just create a Phaser tween where we target our bubble game object. We then specify our starting position and then target position where we want to animate our game object to. Then with our built-in tween, we have all kinds of different flexibility of how we want to animate our game object and move it along our path. Our example here is we're animating it as a sine wave, that way we get this really cool wavy effect like this, instead of just moving our bubble in a straight line. We can then also do things like introduce randomness, that way each attack is a little bit unique. And what's really nice with this approach is you can even randomize the timing or add curve paths for variation. It makes each attack feel a little more alive. And if you want, you can mix this with a particle trail for even more polish. Most games actually combine these methods, like a small animated sprite at the center with a particle trail following it. You get the best of both worlds, stylized motion, and dynamic energy. And so to recap, particle emitters are great for dynamic flowing effects. Animated sprites work best when you've got a unique looping visual. And multiple sprites with tweens give you the most control over motion. You can mix and match these however you want. It's all about the feel you're going for. I might expand on one of these in a full step-by-step tutorial, so let me know in the comments which one you'd like to see next. If you found this helpful, hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you're new here, subscribe for more phaser tutorials and game dev tips every single week. And if you'd like to support the channel, I've set up a Ko-fi page. Every coffee helps me keep making these deep dive tutorials. See you in the next one.